In progress.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the second quarterly public meeting of 2023 of the Board of Public Utilities. Madam Secretary, would you please read the public notice?
Adequate public notice has been given pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice having been posted at the board's office and website and emailed to the Department of State and to newspapers of broad circulation within the state.
Thank you. And roll call, please.
Commissioner Holden. Here. Commissioner Crystal DeLu.
Here.
Commissioner Gusadovi.
Sorry, here.
Commissioner Abdu.
Here.
President Frederico.
Yes. Okay, thank you. And again, good morning for those of you who are joining us, not only those who have signed up to speak, but those who are listening in. Before we get started, there are several announcements I want to share with you so that we know exactly what we're going to be doing here today. First, this past week, we recognized and celebrated Juneteenth. Juneteenth is officially recognized on June 19th and marks the day when the last enslaved African Americans found out about their freedom. May this day forever serve as a reminder of the centuries-long fight for equity and equality for African Americans in the United States. Let us continue to recognize our past and work toward a better future that ensures and celebrates freedom and diversity. If we're not all free, none of us are free. This week marked the transition from spring to summer, my favorite season. I hope you all have a wonderful summer with your family and friends and enjoy the great outdoors that we and other parts of our country provide. Lastly, today's quarterly public meeting gives members of the public the opportunity to speak directly to the commissioners on various important initiatives. There is no specific item of discussion today, so it's whatever you want to tell us. Public input in our work is an important part of our decision-making. Hundreds, probably thousands of members of the public have provided input and comments in our stakeholder meetings and public hearings throughout the year. And I might add that we have more stakeholder and public meetings than any previous Board of Public Utilities. And it's because we want your input. It's because we learn from what you tell us. Whether you are the public, a developer, or anyone with interest in our work, we value your opinions. We ask speakers to please keep their comments brief, and if you have detailed written statements, you can submit them to the board secretary and summarize them here. Not necessary to read the entire statement. And our board secretary is ready, willing, and able to accept your written comments. I would also note that you should avoid commenting on contested matters before the board, but are welcome to raise general policy issues for the board's consideration. If it's a contested matter, we're not allowed to discuss that because we vote on it. And the ethics and the rules of the board do not allow us to comment on those contested items. So We look forward to your comments. And before we get started, do any of my colleagues have any opening remarks? Nobody. Okay. Some logistical information. As a reminder, only pre-registered speakers will have the ability to speak and ask questions. We will not have a chat feature enabled and cannot accommodate anyone who didn't register to speak before the deadline. Members of the public who did not register will be able to watch via the live stream on YouTube, just like we have for our regular board agenda meetings. While anyone who wishes to submit testimony is encouraged to submit that testimony, in these meetings, we are especially interested in hearing from people who we don't get an opportunity to hear from during our regular stakeholder meetings. Now is the time we get to hear from you. And it's taken to heart. We consider these comments, whether they're written or verbal, in our deliberation and in helping us to set policy. Geraldine from our communications team will announce and unmute each speaker. Geraldine, would you mind taking it from here?
Absolutely. Our first registered speaker is Eric Ford. I don't see him logged into the meeting, so we will be moving on to our next registered speaker, Allison McLeod. You can now unmute yourself and provide comments.
Hello, good morning. My name is Allison. Thank you. My name is Allison McLeod. I'm the Public Policy Director for the New Jersey League of Conservation Voters. We're the statewide political voice for the environment, and we advocate for clean air, clean water, equitable access to open space, and clean energy for all New Jerseyans. I'll be brief this morning. We just wanted to take the opportunity today to thank the board and the hardworking staff at the BPU for a number of important initiatives and items that you're working on, and to echo our strong support of your work for offshore wind. To also thank you for a strong building decarbonization proposal, the recent straw proposal, and to echo our comments in that we believe that natural gas infrastructure should not be incentivized as part of that building decarbonization straw, and to thank you for the work on that. And to also just reiterate that we're very interested as the board begins the natural gas planning process, and that we would look forward to the continued stakeholders discussion and opportunity to discuss what that infrastructure future looks like for our state. But really, we just wanted to take a moment to thank the staff and the board, as there's a lot of clean energy proposals moving forward, to thank you for your time on that.
Well, Allison, thank you very much for your comments. We're not used to being complimented, so that is very, very nice. We appreciate that you were the first speaker, actually.
Of course, thank you.
That's just a matter of the draw. That was not planned. Geraldine?
Thank you, Allison. Our next registered speaker is John Paul Kiesel. You can now unmute yourself.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Very well. How are you, sir?
I'm well, thank you. So my name's John Paul Kiesel, and I'm the Territory Manager for Water Furnace International. We're the leading manufacturer of ground source and water source heat pumps in North America. My territory covers New Jersey as well as the downstate portion of New York, including the 5 boroughs in Long Island, as well as Connecticut and Rhode Island. So New Jersey's clean energy goals and carbon reduction goals are important, lofty, and achievable, but we really have a lot of work that's left to be done if we're going to hit our goal of installing 400,000 heat pumps by the year 2030. I mean, that's only 7 years away, and we really need to step up our game if we're going to achieve those targets. Also, I think it doesn't make a lot of sense to me that New Jersey is still offering incentives on fossil fuel fired equipment when we're trying to reduce greenhouse gases and carbon emissions. I understand that that natural gas isn't going anywhere in the near future, but if we are going to make an impact. I think that we should really be look at what the Energy Star program is doing and their proposal to remove conventional air conditioners and fossil fuel fired equipment from their programs. We should take that cue. Also, I believe that New Jersey really needs to add ground source heat pumps and geothermal into their programs. Geothermal is the single most efficient equipment that's available to heat and cool a building, and the federal government recognizes this. They offer a 30 to 40% tax credit, depending if it's residential or commercial. To date, New Jersey really hasn't even given Geo a seat at the table. We're betting very heavily on air source. And air source is great, but air source loses capacity and efficiency when we are experiencing weather-related coincidental peaks. When it's hottest out, when it's coldest out, when that equipment needs to work its hardest, it's working at its least efficient. What are we going to do when we have 400,000 air source heat pumps installed and we get hit with a polar vortex and we've got tens of thousands of 4 and 5 ton heat pumps simultaneously in defrost and with their 15 and 20 kilowatt strip heaters engaged? That's going to be a nightmare. It could potentially crash the grid and leave tens of thousands of New Jersey citizens to freeze until we can get things back in order. Ground source does not lose efficiency, and it maintains its full heating load capacity and cooling capacity during these weather-related peaks with no need to rely on backup heat at all. New Jersey really needs to reconsider adding geo and ground source into their programs. We should also be considering district geothermal programs. There's federal grant funds available for that. And district geo programs can essentially be a new utility and a new way forward for gas utilities as we wean off of fossil fuels. I'm going to provide my written comments. I really do have a lot more. I don't want to suck up a lot of the time here. But like I said, I do have written comments that I'll provide. And again, I wanted to thank you for hearing me out this morning.
Well, thank you for your participation, Mr. Kiesel. And as I said in the initial opening statements, we value that input, and we also value. I detected a little impatience on our progress, and it's. I assure you, we're going as quickly as we possibly can, and so on, because we are as anxious as you are to ensure the fact that New Jersey has clean energy throughout the state. So
I appreciate it.
We're on the same page, sir.
Great. I'm a resource for you guys. If you ever need me, feel free to reach out.
Thank you. We appreciate that also. Geraldine?
Our next registered speaker is Kathy Hunnan. I don't see her on the line. So we will be moving on to Douglas Presley. You can now unmute yourself.
Yes, good morning, President Fiordaliso and members of the commission.
My name is
Doug Presley, and I'm with Dandelion Energy. We're one of the largest residential geothermal installers in the country. Dandelion has been growing rapidly in response to customer demand, and today we're a team of 250 people, most of whom are in the field every day installing geothermal heat pumps for our customers in New York, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. Dandelion is actively looking to expand into New Jersey, and we see it as a market with great potential. Where residents will save significantly on their utility bills, and we're hearing a lot of interest from residents. Wanted to echo a lot of the comments that were just made, so the timing is opportune. We really just didn't speak to some of the benefits of geothermal heat pumps for New Jersey residents. Geothermal heat pumps use a buried loop of a closed loop of fluid-filled plastic piping to move heat from the ground into a home during the winter and move heat from the home into the ground during the summer. By using the ground to transfer the heat, geothermal heat pumps use about half of the electricity of an air source heat pump over the course of a year and will draw a peak load of only a quarter to a third of an air source heat pump on the coldest winter days. So a significant reduction in electric demand on peak days. Because of this efficiency, geothermal heat pumps increase electric revenues without requiring new grid infrastructure, which allows utilities to spread infrastructure costs and reduce electric rates for all ratepayers. Geothermal heat pumps can also meet 100% of the heating need in the coldest climates without any fossil fuel or auxiliary heat backup. So dual fuel solutions are not necessary with ground source heat pumps in New Jersey. Because of these energy savings, geothermal heat pumps offer the lowest operating costs of any heating or cooling technology, with annual energy savings of over $500 per year compared to natural gas, or over $2,000 a year compared to fuel oil for a single family home in the state. New Jersey has established a commendable goal of 400,000 heat pumps installed in homes and 20,000 in businesses by 2030, and it will be necessary to quickly ramp up incentive programs to ensure that the state can meet these targets. Given the benefits of geothermal heating and cooling, they should play a major role in meeting those targets. Multiple studies have shown that 1 in every 4 heat pumps should be a geothermal heat pump to minimize grid infrastructure costs. So this means 100,000 geothermal heat pumps for New Jersey. The utilities have strong and well-funded energy efficiency programs, but to meet these targets, we're going to need to prioritize building decarbonization aspects within those programs. For a point of comparison, the successful New York Clean Heat program for heat pumps and heat pump water heaters has a $450 million annual budget. Prorated for population, and equivalent investment in New Jersey would be about $200 million per year for heat pump rebates. Best practices for utility and state-run heat pump incentive programs have been well established in neighboring states. We know how to implement these programs, and the BPU should strive to quickly establish and scale equivalent programs in New Jersey. We don't have time for a wait-and-see approach. In addition to the funding aspects, New Jersey must also address its workforce challenges to accelerate heat pump deployment. In particular, workforce licensing for heat pump installers and drillers is holding back geothermal installations in the state. So BPU should work to support workforce growth through significantly enhanced workforce development programs for heat pump installers, and the state will need to re-examine existing licensing barriers to fully meet its heat pump deployment targets. So just in summary, we're excited about the market potential for geothermal heat pumps in New Jersey, and we look forward to working with the BPU and the utilities to expand support for geothermal systems, and appreciate the opportunity to comment today. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your comments, Mr. Presley. And again, we certainly take them to heart. And we have probably one of the most outstanding staffs in state government here in New Jersey. We have a lot of really smart people who've probably forgotten more than I'll ever know. And they have put their nose to the grindstone on all areas of clean energy. And we are moving as quickly as we can. And as I said to Mr. Kiesel, we're impatient too. And but I assure you, we are moving as quickly as we possibly can. And I would just like to ask you one question, Mr. Presley. Is your middle name Elvis?
It's not, but my grandfather did get to meet him
Years
ago and compare relatives, and the conclusion was, I guess we ain't kin.
So you're not kin, okay?
So we can't claim any heritage, but we did get a short anecdote out of it. So,
well, that's amazing. I'm sure you get that joke frequently, so I didn't mean to. But there is a commissioner here in the United States, in Mississippi, Commissioner Holden, whose name is Presley and is a cousin. Is that right? Of Elvis.
He's a first cousin and he's running for governor of Mississippi.
There you go. Yeah.
So he has a little more claim to it than I do, but I appreciate the question.
Okay, thank you. And thank you again for your comments. Geraldine?
Our next registered speaker is Anna Cunningham. You can now unmute yourself.
Hi, can you hear me?
We certainly can.
Hi, thank you very much for this opportunity to talk. I just wanted to express my concern about PSE&G replacing streetlights with LEDs. I know the thinking is that this is a great idea as it reduces energy and might mitigate climate change. I'm a lifelong New Jersey resident and homeowner, and I'm very concerned about the color temperature of these lights. Today's lights have a temperature of about 2,200 Kelvin, which is a warm temperature. The new street lights are around 4,000 Kelvin, which is much closer to daylight. Excuse me, I'm a little nervous.
Don't be
From a
nervous.
safety perspective, there's no proof that increased lighting deters crime or improves safety. In fact, the harsh contrast created can be more dangerous for people to navigate. That's those deep shadows that harsh light creates. From another perspective, science shows that increased lighting is bad for pollinators, which in turn is bad for native plants. Evidence also suggests that there are adverse effects from streetlights on plants that need darkness to anticipate the seasons, like that fall and winter are coming, and it's time for them to lose their leaves. So anything that mimics daylight is bad for plants and anything in nature, basically. The American Medical Association also notes that the disruption that cooler temperature LEDs have on humans. There's definitely scientific reporting on that. And then finally, I'll just say that light pollution is a growing global issue, and it negatively affects our environment and our quality of life. And we need street lighting that works for everybody, and ordinances that call for downward pointing lighting and other sensible controls. So I would request that future installations of LED lights have temperatures of 3,000 Kelvin or lower. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ms. Cunningham, for your comments. And this has been an issue of LED streetlights for many, many years that I've been on the board, and so on. And most of the initiative, and I'm not placing blame on anyone, so please don't misunderstand me, has come from municipalities who are looking to, one, save money on their electric bills, and two, apparently to provide a more safe environment. But your research is something we'll certainly look into, and I appreciate your comments. Thank you.
Thanks.
Our next registered speaker is David Drumler. I apologize for mispronouncing. You can now unmute yourself.
Good morning. My
Good
name is
morning.
David Miller, and I'm the Deputy County Administrator for Hudson County, New Jersey. And first, I'd like to thank everyone for carrying us out a little bit today, and also for the great help that the BPU has done in getting us to develop our microgrid, which we're very excited about here in Hudson County.
Good.
So thank you for all the help we've gotten for that. And what I'm here to talk about is EVs and the MHD program and the county's support of that. We are rapidly moving forward with an electric fleet plan to electrify our fleet, hopefully not only in light vehicles, but also our medium and heavy duty vehicles. On Wednesday, we hosted a large get together with New Jersey Clean Cities Coalition, where we had all of the municipalities from Hudson County, a few from Essex County, and a lot of the local school districts in to look at three of the electric school buses that we had on site, some heavy duty trucks, both for construction and garbage trucks. We had several passenger vehicles, and we also had some medium duty buses. The county's working to develop a heat map throughout the county to see where we need to put chargers and to best electrify our fleet. We are a relatively small county, 49 square miles. So, we think electrification here is one of the easier things to do, compared to some of the larger counties in size. We have identified incentives to help us with the cost of vehicles and chargers. Obviously, we could always use more, but what we really need help with is some of the make-ready costs. So that's why we're encouraging the BPU to move forward with their MHD program to make funds available to support us, especially with our shortest term initiative, which is to change our medium-duty bus fleet that brings special needs folks and the elderly to their medical appointments and dialysis appointments. And that's where we are going presently. And, you know, we're going to use some of the microgrid to help out with that. But we're also going to need some, you know, quite a bit of make ready work. We have a fleet of about 40 buses. So it's going to be, you know, a yeoman's chore to get that done and to get it done efficiently. So anything we can do to help out supporting the MHD program, you know, we're more than willing to do, and we look forward to moving forward.
Great, and thank you for your comments. And I'm so pleased, and if I may speak for my colleagues, I'm sure they're pleased also that you're concentrating on transportation. As you are aware, about 40% of the carbon that's emitted into the air here in New Jersey comes from transportation. And so this has to be a focal point of our initiative to bring clean energy to the state of New Jersey. And you said Hudson County is a small county, but having been raised and born and raised in Essex County, it's Hudson County is a mighty county. And I used to walk from where I used to live to the old Roosevelt Stadium. And that's probably before your time, David. and so on, because that's how close we live to Jersey City, in the part of the Ironbound that I grew up in. So we are here to not only assist the 9.3 million people who live here in New Jersey to get into electric vehicles, to reduce the carbon that's emitted from gas engines, and so on, but we're also here to help our counties and our municipalities. And so we appreciate your comments and your willingness to participate.
Well, we appreciate that. And, you know, with 750 million people packed into 49 square miles, we need to do everything we can to help to make the air that everyone breathes, you know, a little bit cleaner.
Yes, that's for sure. And you probably have more people in the state of Wyoming.
We do.
There you go. So, but we're here to help, and anyone who has spoken so far, please take no other thing away from this session. We're here to help and appreciate all of the input that you provide. Geraldine?
Mr. President, we have no additional registered speakers.
So do I break out in song and dance now? Is that what?
I think it's just about time to end the meeting.
All right. Do any of my colleagues have any closing statements?
Mr. President, I just want to say thank you to all of the people who participated and gave us some very interesting ideas and good perspectives. I think this forum that you created really helps initiate and create some valuable dialogue that's going to help our efforts and the state of New Jersey. So congratulations to everyone.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner. And if anyone who did not register wishes to submit comments after the meeting, they may do so via the board secretary at, and I'll do this slowly so you can write it down, board.secretary@bpu.nj.gov. Let me repeat that. board.secretary@bpu.nj.gov. The deadline to submit written comments is July 21st. So you have almost a month to submit any written comments that you would like to submit And I assure you that everything that is submitted is read by the commissioners. And certainly, as I said at the beginning of the session, it is something that we take to heart and gain some insight into things that maybe we didn't think about. So it's we're much appreciative. Also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and all social media platforms. And of course, our website to see what's going on at the BPU. As you may know, the BPU until 1999 was just purely a regulatory body. We still are, but in 1999, the legislature designated us as the Clean Energy Office for the state of New Jersey. And since Governor Murphy has laid down a vision to make New Jersey, quote, carbon free, end quote, we are in the middle of it. And we take that very, very seriously because it's our duty, I believe, to mitigate climate change the best we can, for not only for us, but more important for generations. So again, I thank you. If there are no other items, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion. So moved.
Okay, will you take a second, Commissioner Holden? Commissioner
Yes.
Gould Sadovi moved it. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, very good. And again, thank you much, and everyone, please stay safe.